I don't know. I don't even get.
But you
Listen,
know,
listen,
but you do know
let-
that, like even to not like an answer to your thing, just to put some things in perspective. I saw somewhere here that there were some a civilization was just discovered that they are walking naked.
here on Earth.
Yeah.
Of course, now they are the Sentinels and they are the Amazons. They are people,
So,
the Vadoma people of
because when it comes to
Zimbabwe.
like colonization, even if they found them walking naked, they must have told them, "Yo, go put on clothes or something." It's within the realm.
No. Listen. Let's look at it this way. The reason why Adam and Eve why God sowed fig leaves for Adam and Eve was because to cover their shame, right? Because they were naked. And before that, they didn't even know that they were naked. So until they ate out of the tree. So if there are other people that existed outside Eden, you understand? That means that they had no idea that there was a tree of knowledge of good and evil. That means that they would also most probably would have been naked too, because they won't also have any concept of right or wrong or any of that stuff. Unless the Adam and Eve story was like how do I put it, like another field experiment, because there might have been other field experiments of people fucking eating like all the fucking time. God will create people and then you fucking eat out of it and then you send them away and then you create another one. Maybe Adam and Eve were like the 10th experiment. You understand? So that is the only way we can explain that maybe there might have been other people outside the garden who already knew what's up. But aside that, there is no other logical explanation, because when people who say that the woman that Cain took was his wife or was his sister, you have to understand that from the period of when Adam was created to the period of when their third child Seth was born was a period of 130 years. Secondly, when Seth was born after Abel was killed, so he was born from like they were in mourning when he was born, and then after that it says that Adam went on to live for 800 more years, and within that 800 years he bore sons and daughters. So we know from the Bible that there was no other child that existed before Seth was born.
In the 130 years, let's say 90 something, is the action and stuff.
No, obviously now, because
there's no chance for him to actually say, okay, Eve, Alpha, let's just get together and just have.
The Bible didn't say it, because see, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The Bible says in Genesis that before, like, God usually came to the garden to visit them. And we can know that from there. We know maybe God told them about some certain things. You know, that's how we know that maybe they were not completely dumb. You understand? But the Bible put that hint there. But the Bible makes no mention of any other child existing. You understand? If it really wanted to like at least put a hint there, it would have casually just slipped in something there, just the way it slipped in. God usually came to visit them in the garden. You understand? So we don't know that there might have been another child. Even if there was another child, we know the consequences of incest, medically speaking. Do you understand? It will not work.
But like the first people, so they are genomes.
If
many disease and all those stuff.
How do we know?
Because
that there will,
yes, we don't know.
don't you think that it would even be more chaotic?
It's just like the original version of human being.
Why are incest babies? Why are they like branded?
Because like siblings or family members all share the same chromosome, like they all share the same DNA, and 23 chromosomes from me and 23 chromosomes from a perfect stranger will form a normal child, but 23 chromosomes from my own sister will form a deformed baby because of what the DNA is. The gene pool is too small.
Is it like a random thing or a guaranteed thing that the baby is going to come out deformed?
90% of the time, the baby is going to come out deformed. 90% of the time, the baby is going to come out.
I've seen a lot of people actually getting together with their.
Isn't that what they say in the royal family? Like, to keep the blood
And giving birth.
Yes. No.
Like cousins and.
And the child is healthy and to do football and gets aspiring on goals and all those career stuff. There's no issue. So that 90% I think is just like it's really high.
Yeah, I've seen.
I'm not saying that.
Misha, I've not seen like someone that would die from incest.
Hold on, I checked it. My track. I'm listening to analyst.
Anyways, the whole the beginning stuff, yeah, a lot of
plot holes there.
and a lot of the stuff. It's like this. Other people just want to put their own thing there. And if it's not in the Bible, somebody just say, just use your common sense. Just fix it. So everybody's not having their own version, their own.
And then from there, everything just getting scattered. That's why it's now very, very easy for Nigerian pastors to like.
This is your master.
Because I feel like many people bring in their personality to whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a boss, maybe you're a pastor or something. But I'm not going to worship the pastor, I'm going to worship God.
Some people are taking their pastors as like God.
Yeah, I see that kind of thing. This is the one that they said the pastors came to come and give people this spirit to help them. Like, was it meditative spirit or was it jig? To cast out demons. The drank it.
The one that said you should eat grass.
All those things. I've seen them
But
before.
the thing people need to understand is, man, Christianity is bigger than any pastor. I don't know if it's that way. Bigger than any pastor. I mean, as much. What I was trying to say is, what I mean by that is, if your pastor is trying to misbehave with quotes,
I don't know if people don't mind.
if your pastor is misbehaving, Christianity is bigger than him. I'm gone.
But people don't think that way now.
People don't think that way, but that is what it is. So I feel like.
But the thing with that thing is, some people just have a recognition, and some people don't know it's wrong. I won't say wrong. Some people just know that it's not supposed to be like that, but then they just try. So that mentality of me trying or me holding on to somebody, or somebody coming to tell me that this thing will work for me. Come on, this pastor is good and stuff. You just have to do it. You're not doing enough. You are doing this and you just
A lot of people, like when they leave like a church or something, the way people talk about it as if they left and just became astray or something, even if they're going to another church. It's something that always mind boggling to me, because I've experienced it like with a lot of like my close friends and stuff. I mean, I feel like if what you're preaching is that we should worship God and all of that stuff, is if he left and went to another church, I don't think it's a problem. It's not like a problem. It's like I'm leaving this Apple shop here to go and buy iPhone in Athens inside. Telling me like, nah. I mean, at the end, you are still buying iPhone, isn't it?
Let me ask, is God a Christian? Like the God that people are worshipping, is he a Christian?
Christian means follower of Christ.
Okay, but like, do you think that God sees himself as assigned to a particular religion?
No, at all.
So why is it that, okay, for example, first of all, why is it that you Christians are bent on saying that Christianity is, you people want to make it so superior that people have stopped calling it a religion and people are calling it a relationship? Why?
That shit is personal. I don't think.
Yes, I think it's exactly what we just said now. It's personal between you and God, not your pastor or.
No, I'm not talking about pastors. I'm talking about God himself. Like, why is it that God, as a people want to streamline God to a particular road that you follow? You understand? Like, for example, now there are three concepts of God. There is the what do you call it? There is theology, there is theism, there is deism, and there is pantheism. So, in the idea of theism is like a God that cares about, that wants to have a relationship with people, and he wants worship in return. Then the idea of deism is the kind of God that if it actually existed, that are, as in is more likely to exist. A deist God, like a God that does not, like he just is a creator. He doesn't want to see himself as a God. He just creates things to and then sees how the outcome. And then the idea of pantheism is just like the universe is God. You understand? Nature is God. So why is that in the idea of theism, people now want to like put God in a box and say, oh, this one is my own, and then the other ones that everybody else is worshiping is wrong. Like like for example, now I know somebody that said that every other god is wrong and is from hell, while him, the God that is worshiping, is the one true
I don't
God.
think every Christian that believes that.
No, but generally that is what even the Bible. That is what the Bible
Nothing general
says.
about
Because even Jesus himself says that he's the way, the only way to God. He's the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody else comes to nobody else goes to the Father except through him. So that means that all the whole other religions they are deceiving themselves now. So why?
I think, I don't know though, but I just feel like that whole, that's it.
No, just say your mind now.
I feel like that one is just, like, it's just for like Christians. It's just for like Christianity.
Okay.
I don't think it's possible that, like, for example, now, Islam, let's say they have their own Jesus, which, like, just the way, like, Jesus is like the way, the truth, and like, blah, 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 you have to go through him to get to. Maybe there is also someone like that you have to go through to get to God.
That would be Muhammad. But we're talking about the truth now. We're talking about what is actually true. Like, okay, if all the religions in the world come out and say that they are the one true religion, that means that nobody, as in, it's a lie. Not everybody can say that their religion is the one true religion. It has to be one or none at all. Understand? So, for example, now, like we were saying before that, when I was talking about the expansion of the universe, and you were talking about maybe God is creating other planets. So my question, I wanted to ask you, which God? Because you cannot just say that it's your God that is responsible for everything that is going on in the universe. There are other gods too that exist, and it would be kind of short-sighted to say that like the God that I'm conveniently worshiping is the God that is the creator of everything. So meanwhile, there are other people who also believe the same thing. So who is telling the truth? So nobody knows, and that means that, in all honesty, you Christians are just going with the flow and just.
It's not like going with the flow. Wow, that's it. Most people just don't. They just believe in something, So they just be like, okay, I believe in this thing. This is the way I want to do my life. It's something that resonates with the way I think.
Okay.
They just go with it. It's not like they actually say, this is just the only way I'm stuff. Just people believe that it will be worked for me, and then I'm going with it. But it's other people that actually try to push the thing on other people. Say your own way is bad, your own way is this, which is not.
They're like extremely
they're just pushing it and like some Christians, I won't lie to you, just like if you don't follow Jesus, you're going to hell.
Yeah,
there are people like that. You just don't want to hear me, you're just going to hell. So it's that bad. But people, you just like we humans, you don't have to accept the fact that everybody's just scripture, and you have to just do your own thing and do your own stuff.
It's very hard to.
You're not a slave, and then you have to follow. You have to be accustomed to something or culture and other stuff. So you can think for your own self. Then you can also do this. If you check it out, most I'm talking let's say the Christian aspect. Most children of pastors' children, most of them, they are not following the footsteps of their father or their mom or their parents or their guidance. They are not. Because they're already in it. You've seen it and they're like, what's this? Then you try and go outside and then they find something else. So you see those people now, it's not like it's just their own way that they just found out. It's not like they want to push the thing into people's or push it down people's street.
Do you think that it's okay to like impose religion on kids?
No, it's not like that, but it's just you as a person. You're like, this is what I think my kids should do. This is what I think my kids should do. This is what I think my child.
But do you think that generally kids are they are mentally capable?
You shouldn't
No,
impose, but
they're
you
not.
introduce it
Yeah,
to them.
you
It's
can
just like
introduce
how you enroll kids to school.
Yeah.
No, school is different. School is essential for learning. Yes, and
Oh,
for the
is it?
development
It's
of a
simple,
child.
actually.
No,
Really, they will
listen,
still learn. They'll
listen.
learn to speak English from
No,
home. They'll
no.
learn to read at home.
Okay, not
And
at
that way
home.
they can start choosing what they want and what they don't want.
No, see, listen. The difference between school and religion and imposing religion on the child is, if you're like school is necessary for a child, both mentally, emotionally, and like socially, because you have to go to school to meet your friends and all that stuff, and then you have to learn things also, and you have to pick things up. But then, when you now, let's say, like in the case of religion now, for you to tell a child that oh, you have to be a certain way, you have to be this, you have to do this, and if you don't do it, you're going to get some sort of punishment. So you're going to go to hell basically because obviously their parents that tell those things to their kids. So do you think it's okay for a child for you to force a child every Sunday to go to church and every Tuesday to go to fucking Bible study and choir practice? Do you think that it's okay, and do you think that there should be some sort of law to kind of refrain parents from doing that?
I don't think there should be a law because you can't do it. Unless you're violent about it.
But
I don't think there should be a law against it because you can't tell people how to parent their
Yes,
kids.
yeah, exactly. But it's not okay to force them into
No,
it. Like, it's not.
I don't think it's. I think teaching children or people that want to come into this thing, I think it should be by their own choice. If not, it's going to be eye service.
Yeah.
That's why most of these like pastors' kids, even if they eventually go to church, they'll be going to their dad's church at the end of the day.
I think when you get to like a certain age, it's okay to be like, do you want to continue or
Yeah, at least just like introduce it. Because if you believe in something, yeah, you say you're an atheist, yeah, you're not going to, I don't know, you're not going. If your kid like wakes up and like starts going to church or something, you're gonna be like, it doesn't work. You try to talk him out of it because according to you, like it doesn't make any sense. I think it's logical. I will understand if you understand. So it's kind of like the same thing. And then if you get to an age where it's like, you know what, this is what I want to do. You don't have any power to control that.
of course.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we actually contradict ourselves. We are like, Christianity is a relationship. But then, like,
every other religion is a relationship with their own personal God. So, but if Christianity is a relationship with your God and it's not a religion, then you might as well call it cultism because
I don't think they're saying it's not a religion.
no, when you say like when you're talking to let me say some all these BLW people.
You're removing that part, right?
No, remove it for what? Let's call them out. What I'm talking about all these BLW people. Yeah, you tell them, guys, this is people are doing. I mean, like people know that it's just a religion, right? And then they say, no, it's a relationship with God. Like,
But it really is though.
okay, Buddhism is a relationship. Let me not say Buddhism. Let's say Scientology. Let's say Jainism, or let me call on that. Let me say I don't know. There are thousands of religions, and they are all relationships. Okay, let's use Jainism now for an example. Jains are very very peaceful people. They are not violent, and you can kill them, and they will even want open their neck for you to kill them. So because of what the level of how committed they are to their own God, and the level of their own what is that word now? They are so devout to their God, and then when you now compare Jainists with Christians, you see that the Jainist lifestyle is the Christian's idealistic life. Like that's what the Christian wants ideally. So, so like for example, then you now start hearing Christians saying, really we're not in a religion, we're in a relationship with our God. Like, what do you mean by you're not in a religion? Okay, you claim to hear the voice of your God, you pray to your God, you make ritual, like there are ritualistic stuff that you follow. Like people go to church every Sunday, you have Holy Communion and all that stuff. There are holy books, holy texts that you read, and there are certain lifestyles that people are not supposed to indulge in. So if you're and there are consequences for going astray. The consequence for apostasy in Christianity is hell. In Islam is death. You kill if you leave. So if you're not going to call this a religion, then you might as well call it a cult, because it's the exact same thing. The cultists don't say that they're in a religion. So if you're not going to call it a religion, you're going to call it a relationship. You have to be aware that there are other religions also that are even in closer relationships with their own deities. You understand? More than you people are.
But it doesn't make it less of a relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't. The thing is that Christians, we talk a lot. We are like hypocrites. Sorry, everybody, but like there are a lot of like hypocrites. Do you get? Because we say like sometimes they preach that okay, you're not supposed to drink, you're not supposed to do this thing, but a lot of Christians drink. If you even compare to like Islam, they don't drink at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then it doesn't mean we don't have people there that don't drink. I don't know if you get it.
I understand.
So like that's just it. These people, everybody's religion is like a relationship with their God. Or we are like saying it too much. I don't know. Like I don't know how to put it, but like because we're like it's a relationship.
Yeah.
But it's actually a relationship.
And talk about who don't drink. There's no place that in the Bible that says you drink, you go to hell.
Yeah, I get, but I'm saying they preach it, but they don't actually do it. Do you get? Like that's where the people comes from.
Even in Islam, there
some of them that still exactly. It's just.
I didn't say my name here, right? There's this thing that's going on Twitter right now. Yeah? This girl posted a picture with an open back dress. It was a very nice dress. But then people like, I think she's in Nigeria. People were like calling her out on it, like religion, saying, she's opening herself, she's naked. She was very well covered from what I saw. No one's going to get aroused looking at the back, man. I swear. No sane person is going to get. I swear. But then we're calling her out saying, that Islam is about being modest and blah blah blah. And then someone now pointed out that isn't it the same religion that says that a girl's first period should be in her husband's house? And then someone now like that they have to be this way, that the theme is the modesty, that if people do bad things, if someone like sins in private, it's much better than someone that sins like openly. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me anyway. That doesn't make sense. And that's isn't that hypocrisy? Like that person that is like hiding his own thing will not be the one obviously calling up another thing, right? I call up people for things that you do as well.
That is sadly the Islamic mentality. Like I've seen a video of someone killing his own sister on Facebook, because of what she didn't wear her fucking burqa and her hijab, and her ex, the person that she wanted to marry, posted a picture of her without it in their own home, and to the brother, he felt like it was bringing shame to the family, and so after beating her live on Facebook Live, he shot her. So to them, it's like to them, as in fucking up in public, as in it's like a taboo to them. Like going against Islam in public is taboo to them, but you can do it in private though. Nobody will like. You can do whatever you want to do in private, but even to eat the pig itself, you can eat it in private. But to do it outside. They just want the world to see Islam like under a particular lens. Yeah, to be pure and holy and all that stuff. But sadly, that's not what it is. We're not talking about Islam. Yeah, for someone come and track me now. Oh.
They can't drag you, bro.
Religions, like, they kind of troll each other all the time, but it's a personal preference not to, like, it's like a personal preference not to, like, make jest of other religions. But religions do it all the time, and that shows that there is no God. You do know why I say that? Because, for example, now Islam and the Christians and the Buddhists, they don't agree. Even in the Islam, the Shiites and the Sunnis, they don't agree. In Christianity, Catholics, Pentecostals, Baptists, they don't agree. Inside the Pentecostal itself, Redeem, Christ Embassy, Winners, they don't agree. Inside the Christ Embassy, Pastor Tolu, Pastor Tope, they don't agree. Understand? So, like, there is no central brain behind the whole thing. Everybody just doing their own shit.
Everything you're calling is like different, like I said, like different institutions that preach it. That's why we like prefer saying like just between you and family. That's why things get very complicated when you like try to go through this person or that person. I'm not a Catholic, so like there are lots of times they'll preach that Jesus is the only way, but then next thing you have to stand up and to say prayer to Mary, and I'm like, just said that Jesus is the only way. And then why are we praying through his mom? Like, bro, make it make sense, bro. Like, sure, just like her role in everything was just God had to pick someone to just give birth to Jesus naturally. Just as if God wants to bless me with money and he wants to use you. I'm not going to like start praying to you anytime that, oh my God, the God of Marvin, come and give me money. Oh, Marvin, go and beg God for money for me, or something like that. That's why like I just prefer like our pastor always says, yeah, do your own research. He always says, do your own research, study the word for yourself. Yeah.
But if you do your own research, the tendency for you to become an atheist is very high.
If that's what you're going for, there's something like what they call it, like bias research, Yeah.
Exactly.
Like if me and you look at like the Bible at the same time, you're going to have your own reservation. You're going to be like researching for things to prove your point.
No. Listen, me, before I became an atheist, I was like, the Bible, I was reading it to know, to be acquainted with everything.
I remember everything.
Not word for word now, but mostly. So, but I was not reading it to look for faults. But as I kept on reading, that's what I was seeing. I was seeing faults. I was seeing flaws. I was seeing contradictions. So it was weird. And another thing again is that people have to be honest enough to admit that the Bible is flawed. The Bible is not what they think it is. It's not like the inspired word of God. It was written by a lot of people over a long period of time. It's not accurate. It's not fucking holy or mysterious. It's just a book that we have given this much importance. It's like a comic book that we have, like, let me say, the number one issue of Superman. That shit can sell for like 100K. But we have given the Bible its own importance. You understand?
This story is better than comic book.
Have you read Watchmen? Not the movie, I mean the comic book itself. No, the movie is nothing compared to the comic.
Always. The original things are much better. Just like Avatar the Last Airbender and this thing. That's the first one you watch.
So that is just how it is. There are comics that tell stories that will blow your mind, that will like make you rethink like your own existence. So, and there are other books also that are very, very interesting and mind blowing. The Bible is not like all that there is. The Bible does not carry all the whole profoundness of reality. There are other things that are much more. Okay, there is this book. what is it called again? What is the name? The God. Is it the God? No. The God. Okay, I've forgotten the name of the book. It's about this delivery guy that meets an avatar. Yeah, the God is the Great. Thank you. Yeah, about someone that meets the most intelligent person in the world, and then the person passes all his knowledge to him. So that's just like those kind of books are just, they are crazy books. Not just the Bible. The Bible, how will you tell me that fucking David went and cut 1,000 men's dick and then presented it as a gift to the fucking king? All these things.
I never heard that before.
You have not read of it.
No, I've not had that bad.
I never heard it before.
You've not read of it.
Maybe some in school skipped it or something.
Obviously now there are a lot of things that have you heard of the one? Have you heard of the one where the guy, he was traveling with Judges chapter 19, he was traveling with his concubine. You know, concubine is just it means your slave wife. He was traveling with his slave wife, and then it got dark, and then there was nowhere to like rest, so somebody now invited them to their home, to his home, and then just like the Lot story, the mobs came and they wanted to like have sex with the man. Then the owner of the house now said, okay, you know what, I'm going to give you my daughters. Just like the Lot, as in they plagiarized Lot's story in the Bible. Like there are so many stories in the Bible that are plagiarized. So the man said, I'm going to give you my daughters and even this concubine. People can do whatever I want to do with her. And then he gave them the concubine. And then they raped her to death. And then in the morning, she didn't die immediately. In the morning, she died in like the front of the door. So the husband came out and was like, stand up, let's go. And she couldn't stand up. So he put her on the donkey and then went home and cut her into pieces. Cut her into 12 parts. Just Judges chapter 19. Cut her into 12 parts and shared the body to the tribes of Israel. So the tribes now, the rest of the tribes.
Oh.
You know the story?
You have never heard of that story in the Bible? There are bloody stories in the Bible that will fuck you up. Have you heard of the one where this person, what is his name, Jephthah, sacrificed his daughter to God? No, Abraham's son was attempted. This one, Jephthah, he sacrificed.
No, I know the one of the king that he sacrificed his son.
That one was not even to God. That one was to the god Chemosh, the mountain god, because they were fighting against the Israel. Just look at this thing. The people, I don't know, is it the Ammonites? I've forgotten. They were fighting with the Israelites, and the Israelites seemed like they were winning. People that had God, like the Almighty God, backing them up, it seemed like they were winning. Then the king, he didn't know what else to do. He had to sacrifice his son to the mountain god. And as the person that was to become the prince, the next king, he sacrificed him to the mountain god. And that gave them power to win the children of Israel. There are several places in the Bible where it shows that God is not the strongest God in the Bible. There are parts of the Bible where the children of Israel went to fight another nation with it said in the Bible that they had chariots of steel. Like their own weapons were better than the weapons of the children of Israel, and they lost. Even though God was with them, they lost the war. So the God of the Bible, even in the Bible itself, he's not even the strongest. He's not
about being the strongest.
What is it about now? Like,
I don't know, but like it's just like right now, I mean, he doesn't believe in God. He has God backing him up. But he loves the basketball. I'm sorry. No, but like you get, I don't think it's about like him not being the strongest.
No, listen, the God of the Bible.
Right now they'll tell you that your faith, your faith is what is. I don't know, but like I don't think it's about being the strongest.
But that is what's like. For example, there are two gods. There are two Christian gods. The one in the Old Testament and the one they are different. Yeah. So the one in the Old Testament, he can fuck you up. Like he fuck you up.
They're not different.
They're different.
Yeah.
The God of the Old Testament is different
from
the God of
the New
the Old Testament. Yeah.
But it's still the same God. It's still the same God, but doesn't mean they're not different. Just because this people believe that they are different doesn't mean.
So, like the God of the Old Testament, he's known more for wars, like a God of war. So, and he gets there, as in he'll do anything to win it. Like, for he brought down fire when they were fighting with when the Egyptians wanted to like stop them from crossing, he brought down fire. So he'll do anything. He even there's one part that was that Moses had to like raise his hand so that the sun will not go down. Yes, and he will do anything to win a war. So why couldn't they be able to win a war where like their opponents had chariots of iron?
I think if you read the story completely, I don't know which story I think about, but one story is where they go for war and they lose. God must probably ask them to do something and they do.
No. In that story, it says that God was with them. The Lord was with them. I've forgotten the story. I will send it to you when I get home. Yeah, I think that there's a note I have. When I was reading the Bible, I was taking notes down. So yeah, I'll send it to you when I get home. But yeah, so that's it. And on that thing again is an omniscient being is not supposed to have regrets. He's not supposed to have anger. Because nothing should be surprising to him. And omniscient being, nothing should take him out of like unaware. So it's impossible for God to like have regretted creating man enough for him to want to destroy the whole world. And there's no evidence that there was a worldwide flood at one point in time. In fact, where they got that story from was there's this poem called the Epic of Gilgamesh. You know about it? So that was where they got the story that God flooded the whole world. That was where they plagiarized it from. So
and then nobody would have lived to witness apart from God.
Noah.
Who wants to be an eyewitness?
Nobody. No. Listen, at the time of when like the flood supposedly happens, there are other civilizations that are thriving now. There are other civilizations that were existing already. So none of them recorded anything.
I think maybe back then, like the world population wasn't even that much.
No.
So the flooding of the whole world could not be flooding of everywhere where people are. Let's say if the civilization is just North Cyprus, it could not be a flood in North Cyprus and that's like the whole world. It might not be like a whole worldwide thing.
But I don't think even if I don't think it would have been rain that fell that flooded everywhere, because the amount of rain that had fallen to flood everybody had to be the same proportion that must have been evaporated. You understand? That must have been evaporated and then condensed into cloud. You understand me? So it falling back down, it would have just been the same thing, normal.
But never like transcends nature.
That is the only exactly. See, listen. The only way the only way that these stories can make sense is if people bring in if you insert God magic to it, like God superpowers to it. That is the only way that. Yeah. So because without that, it does not make sense. Like for example, people are not saying God can do anything. So that is the only way that the story can work. But aside that, those stories are just okay.
Because of that, that's why we believe the story, because
No, no. If God can do anything, can He heal amputees?
Huh?
Can God heal amputees?
I haven't seen this thing, but I've seen God heal a lot of people.
Yeah, but can God heal amputees?
Yes, I think He can do anything. So,
but He has never healed. See, God has healed the fucking blind, right? Supposedly, He has healed people who have maybe some internal sickness that can be healed whether they pray or not, like cancer. People die of cancer. People get healed of cancer whether they pray or not. God have healed fucking diseases and all that stuff. But God has healed. I've seen like there's this one in church now where the woman, is it a woman or like her legs were fucking not the same, and so the pastor was like commanding the leg to be the same. The legs, like those ones they're said to be miracles, but I've not seen where God really grew a limb.
But I believe God can heal anyone.
Yeah, obviously Christians have to be
one. Okay. But number two, like if you see, I'm not saying at the same time I've not seen a proof that he can't. Number one. Number two, I've actually not seen an amputee go ask for, like, because in our church we have like atmosphere for miracles where,
Okay.
I mean, people in need of healing go. I'm not seeing an amputee go there.
Do you think that if an amputee goes to Pastor Chris, that he's going to regrow his limb?
I think it's to me possibly. Yeah.
It's
I won't say possibly. To me, I don't think it's up to Pastor Chris.
No. But he does it fervently. Like he even opened an atmosphere for miracles. Like that is a department of his church, atmosphere for miracles, where people come to get their miracles, right? So that means that for him to have that there, that means that he's willing to even do, like, it's an atmosphere for miracles, not some miracles. So that means that somebody like an amputee can go there. Why then has there not been any amputee going? Like, are you telling me that there are no amputees in the whole of this world that don't wish to, like, there's something called phantom limbs. Have you ever heard of phantom limbs, where amputees feel their lost limbs? So for them to want that feeling back, don't you think that they want to do anything?
Well, if they're not gone, then
they've not just gone.
Why do you think that?
I believe if they go, they will get their hand. And I'm not just saying it because I'm a member of this church, but even when I used to watch this thing, I used to watch the program when I was in Nigeria, but in Nigeria I wasn't a member of the church. Yeah, I used to believe it, and I still believe it to be there because God can do anything.
Okay.
For those who believe.
But why do you think that no amputee in the whole of the history of the modern world has thought of going to Pastor Chris or any other TV preacher?
Not even about faith. I don't know. I think it's up to them though, because there's some people that just don't like to be disappointed.
Yeah, they don't.
Wait.
They don't want to, like, have hope and then
okay. Let's dissect this now. Jesus talks about you having a faith as small as a mustard seed that can work for you, right? So if somebody has just cultivated the idea that I can go here and get my limb back, and he believes that, and he has the faith, even though it's as small as a mustard seed, right? And he goes there. Why do you think that he will want to be disappointed? Why do you think that he will end up being disappointed?
No, what I'm saying is, as long as the person goes there, there are some times that people like, I want to start a business, but then they just stay. They don't even take a first step. They're just scared that, I'm going to put this money, I'll lose it. That's where it just ends. It just ends in this room. They don't do anything about it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about.
Okay, but it's guaranteed. Like, for example, now you people believe in the power of God to be real, right? So that means that it's a guaranteed effect. Like the miracle is guaranteed. There is no room for error. There is not going to be any come today, come tomorrow. Like, it's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed 100% success. That people who go there get their healing. So why is that an amputee would want to, like, does not? Why is that an amputee won't want to, like, take that chance? Take the chance of something that is 100%
guaranteed. I think it's something
guaranteed.
For the amputee to answer, no?
All the amputees in the world.
It's like if I have like $1,000, I won't say $1,000, like $1 million, and I can pay for everybody's school fees on this island, anybody that wants, yeah. And someone is there like doubting himself, like, if I come, will he give me this money? I mean, he looks like he's like very big right now, and will even like look down at me, That's something going on in the person's mind. It's not about me. It's about the person. If the person comes, I'll give it.
Okay, but the person is supposed to come based on the fact that he has heard of other people getting their own. You understand? He has seen other people getting their own school fees. So based on all that stuff that he has seen, based on all that info that he has gathered, nothing should deter him or stop him from coming to meet you to get his own school fees money. You understand? So now, every Sunday we have a lot of what do you call them, TV preachers, always doing miracles online and all that stuff, and people are always watching. And the reason why they get people every Sunday is because the people from previous Sundays who watched last week Sunday, they came this Sunday, and then people from this Sunday that are watching will come next week Sunday. So there are always people. You understand? So why is it that none of them, like none of them are amputees. They are only people who, like, most of them are actors. They're all acting.
Yeah.
All these miracles I see on TV, they are all fake.
Then why asking about the amputees then?
No, now because people are the ones that the burden of proof is on you. Like, people are the ones that believe in it. Me, I don't believe in it. I know that they're
I'm
all
not
fake.
trying to prove anything though.
So
I'm just saying.
why like, as in, why is it that we're not seeing the only miracles, quote unquote miracles, that we're seeing are the ones that whether you pray or not, you're going to get better. And me, I've personally seen people who have gone to Pastor Chris himself. I know someone who she's dumb, she can't talk, and they've taken her to Pastor Chris to pray away the dumbness, and she still don't it. Not your original pastor, not like some BOW. Pastor Chris gone. Pastor Chris himself prayed for her, and she still dumb till today. So I don't understand. She's not even. I know there's another woman I know that she had cancer, and she was like, she's a very, I don't know, she's one of these, they are top people in the church, but yet she had cancer, and then her faith told her not to go to any hospital, that she should go to Pastor Chris, and the Pastor Chris prayed for her, the atmosphere for miracles, that the cancer should go, and she believed that the cancer had gone. Maybe the cancer was in remission. She went to the doctor and collected remission paper and said, oh, this is my cancer-free stuff, and she's dead. So, like, we need real life stories. Well, as in, when it comes to real life stories of these people, we find out that all of them leave disappointed. All of them always leave disappointed. They don't leave fulfilled.
Then why don't they file a lawsuit then?
There are forums online now, people talking about.
There are forums on anything online.
But
what's the authenticity of those forums? Like, there are forums on anything online. Like, anybody that you paint good, there's a forum on someone painting them bad online. Anybody that you paint bad, there are people that hail Hitler, like everything he did was right. But there's forum on anything online.
Okay. Probably because maybe as Pastor Chris, he has influence, so it's possible for him to shut people up, to pay people off. Even not even only Pastor Chris, the rest of the pastors, all these big pastors in Nigeria. So it's possible they pay people off, even the ones that they, like, for example, now I don't know if you know of the woman that she had a deformed arm. And there were a lot of different pastors that were always praying for her to regrow, and she was always, it's just like a trick that she could do with her bones. She would make her hand short and make her hand long, and then pastors were using her to make money, and they are paying her. The one she says, they paid her about 1 million naira. So these people most of them are actors. Most of them, they get paid, and some of them are genuine. Like, maybe their problems are not as real as they are painted or as real as they are presented. So they just exaggerate everything, and people and it's believed because television has this tendency to, as in, make people believe in what it shows. It has this. It's very, very powerful, and so when you see it every day of the week on TV, you tend to believe it, and you tend to believe it based on the fact that this is the basis of your own belief system in your country, because we Nigerians were very religious people, so we believe in the supernatural a lot. We believe in superstitious things a lot. So
very good.
Exactly. So it's very, very easy for us to believe in other. As in, Nigerian movies made us believe that if you kill someone, their spirit will disturb you, or like there is jazz or that. So those things are already ingrained in our minds. So it's now very, very easy for us to be susceptible to them. So that's why we tend to believe the things that we see on TV that all these men of God do. And then when it comes to reality, like when let's say something bad happens to you and then you want to go there, you end up getting disappointed. Okay, now look at COVID-19 now. If the God was truly real, right? First of all, it won't be as bad as this, because today now, we're in an information age, and it's very, very easy for information to spread. And it's very easy, and distances that took us months to cover in the past can take us hours to cover now. So it's very possible for a pastor to fucking fly from wherever he is to any hospital in the world to heal people of the virus. But we have not seen a single account of that. Where what we have seen is that pastors have constantly neglected the social distancing, and then when people go to their church, they end up dying in the church. They end up catching the virus and then dying. So there is no power, there is no authority involved. They're just gullible people deceiving other more gullible people. Like me as an atheist, I used to respect what is his name, Pastor Chris a lot. I used to respect, even though as an atheist, I used to respect because I used to watch him a lot back when I was a Christian. But when he now came out to say that 5G is the cause of the virus, and I lost all my respect for that nigga. That guy just fucked up big time there, and every respect I had for him just died. So a whole Pastor Chris that used to fucking wave his hand and people will fly and fall down and all that stuff. You mean you cannot tell me that he cannot go to where the thing is, like ground zero of the virus? And as in, if Christians want to really turn this whole world into a Christian world, this is the perfect time for them to do it, because we're obviously facing a very, very, we're obviously going through something world changing, and it takes just only one pastor who thinks that he has the power or the Spirit of God with him to go into any hospital and heal people with coronavirus, just like the way the disciples did, just like the way Jesus did himself, healing people, instant healing. Not you're going to be healed and you say amen, and then let me say a week later you're healed and you say, oh, this is what the pastor. No, you want it no, the way Jesus did it. So I will understand.
So do you feel like pastors act on their own accord?
Of course, now.
On their own accord?
Yeah. Whatever they do, whatever pastors do, they do it based on their own understanding. Most pastors are out of touch with reality because of what they see themselves as gods. Literally, they see themselves as highly influential. Look at these people; they are following me. They are listening to whatever I'm saying, so I can tell them anything, and they will obey me. Because why else will you tell a normal human being to eat grass and then the person eats grass?
Those people.
Because
those people don't like.
No, listen.
Listen. You need to separate that.
No, you might listen.
There's a point where you know that this guy is.
Okay, listen. Let me tell you something. Can you remember when Whiskey came to this island?
No.
Were you here when Whiskey came to this island?
I don't.
When Whiskey,
I don't keep up with those things.
When Whiskey came here, my housemate at then, I think that was in Lefkosha, right? This guy, he wanted to use his school fees to spend as in that night. He used his school fees to spend that Whiskey concert that night. It's the same thing as I remember when I was still a Christian, there was one time I went to BLW here, and there was one pastor that was coming to Cyprus here in BLW, and they say everybody should contribute with $100 or I've forgotten whatever he can to give to the pastor. And I know somebody also who wanted to use his own school fees to give to the pastor. It's the same thing now.
This one is more.
But it's a choice though, because I mean, not everybody that puts out their school fees. You invest into what you believe in.
Exactly.
You do invest into what you believe in. No one is going to. Have you ever heard any news that they told someone to contribute for any pastor, and then the person said no, and then they forced him or kidnapped him and took his ATM card, appointed God?
No, that is not what the church is going to do to you. The church is going to isolate you. They are going to look at you differently. That is just the fact about it. Let me tell you something. No, the truth of it is that in churches today, in fact, let's use the churches in Cyprus here, the Nigerian churches in Cyprus. If you're not active, if you're not like somebody who is usually seen, you're always in the background, they're not going to regard you the way they regard the people who are mostly in play. You understand? People are always like doing things. They're not going to regard. They're going to take you as someone that's secondary. And then let's say they want to bring you into their circle now, and then they ask you, "Oh, brother Marvin, come and do this," and then come and contribute this and this and this and this, and you're like, "Oh, I cannot be able to." They are not going. They are even good. They are going to look more as in down on you the more. That is just the fact about churches in Cyprus here. They're going to look down on you. They are not going. They're just going to look at you as this guy. This guy is not like. For example, now I don't know if you've heard of the term. Grace is not the same. Like churches, Christians always say grace is not the same. Like I carry more grace. Like it's like they are trying to make themselves a lot. Like people.
You can't generalize. See, seriously, you can't generalize.
Actually, one scenario is not the same for everyone. That's why that we're going to say pick your poison. Like pick the system that works for you and go with it. So long as you're worshiping God, like that's it's like to me like it doesn't matter who you're following or how much you're debating. So long as you're worshiping God.
The thing is, some people that are in good church, don't go to church to worship.
No, they go to church to dance.
There are many people do like so there are some people that go there to go and find girls. Some people go there to go and find guys to marry. So just find your own reason and go.
People go there just because they can play instruments. Free instruments they can play.
Oh.
So yeah. So anyways, I think
I was talking about people giving stuff. Actually, there's according to the Bible, like there's an appointed time for like everything. You get even God said like he didn't come down to come and save us. He had to send his child. Like don't you find like is that not like, don't you think anything about that? Like he didn't come down to come and save us. He had to send his child. And then there's like a time for everything. There's a season for everything. And that's how that's how Jesus works. So you don't obviously the pastors. Let me talk about Pastor Chris. So Pastor Chris too, obviously he has to follow his mentor. Do you get? So you don't like you're talking about like why he has to wait for God to give people like the training school maybe. Like do you get there's a time and he has to prepare and stuff. Exactly. So it doesn't. I don't think he can just wake up and just be healing people, or he has to go to like different places.
What for
like
healing? I feel like just like you said, like in the grand scheme of things, there are things that are meant to happen. And say 1,000 of people died or something, yeah. Some people look at death as the the worst thing that will happen to someone. Let's say you die, you're going to heaven if you're a good person. Isn't that a good thing? Like if you're going to put things into perspective, if you die, you go to heaven, you go to a place where you cannot feel any pain anymore or something. It's not because people die doesn't paint God out to be a bad guy or something.
The problem is not about death. The problem is about how we die, and secondly, what happens after we die. For example, now let's say you're a good person. Let's say we are related, and then me I'm bad, and then you die, and then you go to heaven. The level of happiness you're going to feel will it be the same if you find out that I ended up in hell?
But I don't know till I get there. To be honest, to be very honest, I won't know till I get there.
But what happens in heaven? What is heaven like?
I've never been there, but the Bible says that everything on earth is a shadow of what's in heaven. So maybe your highest joy on what you call it again on earth could be like double, triple, quadruple, who knows?
So
it said what do you call it again? Everything in heaven is like
as above, so below.
Sorry?
As above, so below.
Not the same, but almost the same thing.
But so, like, for example, now
I don't have a visual picture, right? That's what you're looking for.
So, like, let me say, for example, in Revelations, let me just use this last point. In Revelations, right, it said that in heaven there is going to be constant praise of God, and there is not going to be night because His light will continue to shine. So just like you're telling me that forever and ever and ever and ever, we're just constantly going to be praising God in heaven.
Yes.
Like forever and ever, for infinity, we are just constantly going to be praising God, worshiping
when
God.
you say praise, what is it?
Like,
do you imagine like a choir just standing?
No, that is okay. What else is it? I don't understand. Praising God. I think is that we're not like is that our free will is going to be taken away from us, or
I don't think it's going to be free will. I think if let's say your favorite team is Barcelona, and in Champions League final he dribbles everybody and scores, nobody's going to force you to say Messi is the best player in the world.
no, they don't play every day.
People, Man U fans, yeah, they don't win matches every day. But ask them today who is the best team in Premier League. They'll say it's Manchester United because they have a history of trophies.
Okay.
Up to today, nobody can outfanter them for that one.
But
even if my team won Man U 6-1 this season, but then a Man U fan will always have that over me that my team hasn't won a trophy.
But okay, well, what I'm saying is that the idea of heaven being a place where you have to worship God constantly, non-stop, and there's not going to be any night because there's not going to be any darkness because His light will forever be shining. So is that not like enslaving people?
It's not enslaving because the Bible says that heaven is a place of happiness and joy. Slaves are never happy.
Okay. So what else aside the worshiping? Because aside that, what else is going to be here? Because if you're going to say there are mansions in heaven and they're like fucking the streets are made of gold. First of all, the streets being made out of gold is not practical. Secondly,
that's why it's in heaven.
Secondly, is more like fantastical than practical. So secondly, if there are mansions in heaven, mansions built by who? Do these mansions, do they have plumbing? Like, do they have bathrooms and toilets?
The whole world by speaking.
Okay, so if there are mansions, let's say God created the whole world by speaking, and let's say he did the same with heaven, and there are mansions in heaven for people who eventually make it to heaven. So that means the mansions, is it that like they have like what's are in the mansions that make up the rooms? Like, for example, is there a kitchen? Is there like
No.
listen?
I think to me, yeah, why I feel those details where they're like the streets are made out of gold, there are mansions there for everybody, blah blah blah. I feel like it was a statement. You know how people
So it's
see gold
not
as
real.
luxury. You know how people see gold
But
as luxury.
is it real? Like for example now, will there be actual streets in heaven made out of gold?
Wait, sorry.
You have to get there to find out.
Remember when you're like that the Bible were written by like men, blah blah blah. Maybe these people they don't even know how to like explain
how to describe
it. Do you get? So that's like their best way of like describing.
So they're describing in a way that you are going to at least understand. Because let's say if they use like some words that I don't even understand, it won't make sense to you.
And that's what I was trying to say, like the Bible is filled with like mysteries and most things are like metaphors. That's why people are like really grateful because they want people to explain those things to them that they don't understand. And but they don't know that you yourself, you can actually read those things and then try to understand for yourself.
Okay.
But I don't know any other way to explain that.
No, that makes sense. That's that is much I can do today.
Thank you guys for listening. Disclaimer: these are our opinions. It doesn't have to we're not talking about you.
We're not calling out anybody. We're just like giving our own personal opinions.
Yeah, these are our opinions.
Not really our own personal, so you not come for us or anything. Just like just opinion. Like we're just talking.
Thank you so much for listening.